This yellow gold glitter look is perfect for the holidays, and I'm going to show you exactly how to achieve it. What says holidays more than a yellow gold glittery look? So let's get started. I'm actually going to start with a highlighter today. This is the Fenty Beauty Trophy Wife, and it is the prettiest yellow gold. It is so glittery as well. So this to me screams holidays, and I'm actually going to use it on my eyes. Taking a small fluffy brush, I'm just going to get started. Putting it sort of into the inner corner of my eye, almost on my nose, and I'm just kind of sweeping it over the crease and then dusting it towards my brow bone. You see how I didn't get too much on the lid, and I'm not trying to be too precise with this. We're aiming for a really golden, glittery, ethereal look. And do the same thing on the other side. And because it's a highlighter, you see how it's really just giving the glitter. There's not too much color pigment, and so it kind of gives this really cool effect when you turn from side to side where it almost disappears at certain angles. And I just love the way that looks. It feels so magical, which is perfect for the holidays. For the rest of the eye look though, I do want it to be really, really pigmented because I have more of medium skin and yellow is such a light color. Yellow pigments don't show up that well on me. So I'm going to start with a primer in order to get the most out of each pigment. This is the Beauty Crop Stuck On You primer, and I'm just going in with a small flat brush, and I am going to sort of cut out my crease in my eyelid here. I'm just going to pack it on and focus mostly on my eyelid because that's where I want the colors to pop. Now getting more into the shadow, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills NORVINA palette. This is the orange palette, and I'm going to start with E4, and I have a fluffy sort of pointed brush. In order to get more pigment, I'm really going to pack this on rather than sweep. I'm going to start on the inner corner of my eye, just packing in the pigment. A tapping motion really works best here. And I am going in multiple times and picking up more pigment each time to build up that color. I'm focusing the pigment mostly on the inner corners here. I'm not building it out too much as we get closer to the center of the lid because this is where we're going to do our blend. In order to avoid a harsh line, you can even do a little bit of sweeping motion as you get closer to that point in the center of your lid where you're stopping the pigment. I'm going to use that same color, and I'm going to go in on the outer corner as well. We're going to do basically the exact same thing. Packing it in. Don't worry if there's fallout at this stage. You can always wipe it away. This is why I always recommend doing your eyeshadow before your base, because once your base is set, if you have any pigment fall out onto your cheeks, it's a lot harder to clean it up than if you don't have any makeup on your face already. I really like the way that this yellow is turning up using just the primer. If you want this to be even bolder, you can even go in with a crisp white pigment and pack that in first on your lid. That's really going to brighten up your entire eye and really let the pigment sing once you put them on top. Bringing this up all the way to the crease, and then again, just lightly feathering it out so we don't have a harsh line as we get closer to the center of the lid. Don't get frustrated if this takes you a long time. Building up the pigment does take time, and getting the right blend also takes time. So just give yourself some grace, give yourself some patience. Next, I'm going to go in with C1. This is a really yellow, almost champagne colored gold, and I'm using a flat brush to pick this up. This is going to go right in the center. And again, because I want this to show up really well, I am packing it in and just lightly feathering it and blending it into the corners. Where you put your brush down first is going to be where the most pigment is. So you really want to start right in the center, packing it in. And then once you've packed in most of the pigment into the center, you want to take the pigment that's there and lightly feather it to blend it out into the corners. This is going to help avoid any harsh lines. And remember, you can always go back in with the other pigments in order to really perfect the blend. Going back in with that pointed fluffy brush, and I'm going back in with E4, taking just a little bit more pigment, and I'm blending it back up into the champagne yellow color. Going back into your colors is really what's going to make your blend look super ombre and super seamless. I love how glittery and ethereal this is looking so far. I'm actually even going to go back in with Trophy Wife just to put a little bit more glitter back into this look. Not being too precise, I want this portion of it to look really effortless and glowy. In order to make this look as glittery as possible, I have this yellow gold glitter eyeliner, and I'm actually going to use this as a topper. I'm going to get a little bit and just put it on the back of my hand, pick it up with my finger, and I'm just going to pop it right in the center. I'm really lightly tapping it This is a liner, so it dries fairly quickly, and I don't want it to be super blotchy, so I'm going in pretty lightly. You can do this a few times if you need to, just to really build up that glitter. And I'm going just in the center. And of course, I'm gonna use this to line my eyes as well, because more glitter is always better. Nothing says holiday more for me than glitter eyeliner. To line my lower lash line, I'm gonna use this Colourpop BFF liner. This is in the color Dirty Talk. I'm gonna put this in my waterline as well. We're pretty much done with the eyes at this point. Before I move on to lashes, I'm gonna do the rest of my face. Starting with primer, I'm using this Wet n Wild Impossible primer base. I usually just go in with my fingers with primer. While the face primer sets, I'm gonna do my eyebrows, going in with the Arch Nemesis by Marilia Scott Cosmetics. She really killed it. This is my all-time favorite brow gel. If you have stubborn brows, this is the only thing that has ever worked to hold my brows at attention, and it works so quickly. I also love that it doesn't feel sticky. It's really, really light on the face too. It dries matte and super quickly, and it lasts all day. Before I pencil in my eyebrows, I'm gonna do my base, starting with concealer. This is just the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is in the color Medium Sand. I'm gonna put this on my eye a little bit further away from my under eye and right here, because I have some broken capillaries and some hyperpigmentation around my mouth. And I'm gonna let that sit. I've pumped out a little bit of my foundation on the back of my hand, letting that sit as well. This is the Yensa Skin on Skin BC foundation. This foundation is great because it's really light. It feels more like a serum, and it has SPF 40, which is fantastic. Letting the concealer sit on your face for a little while is gonna help with coverage. I'm gonna use that foundation that I pumped out onto my hand. It's been sitting here for a little bit too. Letting it kind of sit again kind of just helps with coverage. I'm gonna start just on my cheeks. That's where I want the most coverage because I do have some acne scars that I'm trying to cover, and I'm just avoiding the area where I already have the concealer. I'm tapping this in. Now going in with my concealer brush and just blending concealer all out. Starting at the bottom first, I want to move as much product around the base and then just kind of lightly sweep it up to the eye. You want the least amount of product possible around the actual base of the eye, which is why we let it sit for a little bit. Letting it sit thickens it up, so you need less to achieve the same amount of coverage. And the less product that you have up near the base of your eye, the less likely you are to see creases under your eye. Once that's done, I'm just gonna go back in with my foundation, just anywhere that I missed or anywhere that I feel like I need more product now that the concealer is blended. With foundation and concealer, you always want to start with a little bit, because the more that you put on, the easier that it is for your foundation and your base to look cakey. And remember, you can always add more product, but it is very difficult to take product away once it's already on your face. And that's all that I need. And listen, I hate waste too. Have a lot of foundation left over, but I would rather waste this and not put it on my face and not have my foundation look cakey, because then it just kind of feels like a waste of all of my makeup. For blush, I'm using this Sugar Peach Too Faced palette. To go along with this yellow gold eye, I thought that this orange shade would be perfect for the blush. It also has slight gold flakes on it, so it just kind of brings everything together. It is such a pretty shade, and that glitter is so subtle. I'm gonna put a little of the blush on the tip of my nose as well. Since it's the holidays, I love how this gives you sort of a frostbitten look. I like bringing more color into my face by putting just a little bit, just a little leftover on my forehead and a little on my chin too. In order to sculpt my face a little bit more, I'm using the Tarte Park Avenue Princess palette, using the shade Princess Cut. It is the coolest shade in this palette. Warm shades are great for bronzing if you want to bring color back into your life, but if you are trying to chisel your face, cool shades are a lot better for chiseling since they mimic shadows more accurately. The way that I do this is just kind of putting it right into the hollow and then blending up into the blush so that it looks seamless but also gives you that chisel. I never contour my nose too dramatically. I always just use the same brush and then just kind of sweep it on the sides of my nose really lightly. I feel like this adds structure to my nose while avoiding really harsh contour lines that often look really good on camera but sometimes in person end up looking kind of off. And then I just like putting a little bit kind of on my hairline too. This is less to contour and more just to bring some color into my face. If you like, you can even add some around your jawline too. Then I'm just gonna set my under eye mostly. I have this setting powder. This is nothing special. This is just something that I already had. This is by, I never say this name right. I think it's Ciate or Chiate, London. Start by smoothing out my under eye, taking my powder puff. Once there's product on the powder puff, I like to dab the excess off on the back of my hand before I go in so that there's not too much product. Just gonna do the same thing on the other side, smoothing out the under eye, tapping off the excess. Again, the more product that you have on your face, the more likely things are to crease and to look cakey. So I'm just going with the product that's already on the back of my hand and bringing this into my T-zone just to really set the makeup there. And whatever's left, I'll just use to chisel out my cheekbones. I also like to set the concealer around my mouth. And then finally, I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my eyebrows. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. This is in the shade medium brown. I really love this pencil because it's small enough to draw really hair-like lines, but it's still not as harsh as a liquid pen. So it's great for getting a really soft look. I am lining my lips with a nudie pink color. You can use any nudie pink that you have. This is the Pop Beauty Pout on Point, and it's in the color Risque Rose. And I'm topping it off with the e.l.f. Cosmetics Glow Reviver Lip Oil. This is in the shade Princess Cut. Before I move on to lashes, I'm just gonna set my face. I'm gonna tightline my lashes just to make them look fuller. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil. This is in the shade Snow or Stars. And I'm just going underneath my lashes, sort of on the waterline. And I'm pushing the product in between my lashes as much as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes before I add false lashes. I have super straight lashes, and the only thing that helps them keep a curl is pulsing the eyelash curler like so. You can move it up the lash too, but since I'm putting false lashes on, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I just want them to stay up. I am gonna add just one coat of waterproof mascara because I have super straight lashes. Waterproof mascara just helps me keep a curl. This is Maybelline Firework Mascara. It's okay. I don't love that the brush wiggles, but it does really separate your lashes. And I feel like the formula is a little wet for my preference. I never use regular mascara on my lashes because they are so straight. Think about it like if you curl your hair and then put water in it, the curl is gonna fall out. It's sort of the same idea. Any mascara that is not waterproof is water-based. So if you have trouble with your lashes keeping a curl, try switching to waterproof mascara after you've curled them and see if it makes a difference. Putting a little on my lower lashes as well. All right, lash time. I'm honestly not the best at putting on lashes. Pretty much what I do is go in from underneath my lashes first, just to measure out where the placement is gonna be best. Then I put the middle down first and bring the edges to where they need to be, finally finishing with just crimping them to my lashes. And this is the full look. Yellow glittery gold, perfect for the holidays. It looks so shiny and ethereal and I love it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what colors I should use next. If you like this tutorial, make sure to like and comment to let me know. And of course, subscribe as I will be putting out more beauty content, tutorials, and reviews.